Hey there! Thanks for tuning into Sin's Workshop here on YouTube. Hope you're all having a great day. So today we're going to be talking about Only Ashes Remain by Rebecca Schaeffer. It's the second novel in the Market of Monsters series. And I already said this, with my Not Even Bones review. Really angry at myself for not picking up this series sooner. I mean, it's so absolutely amazing. Absolutely loved it. I can't say that enough. I thought it was so well written, how this novel kind of unfolded, and how Nita, she really has to, she grows, she grows, she faces the darkness. Her and, there we go, that's why it looked at me. Her and COVID, they grow together as a dynamic, and I really enjoyed how their story unfolded, because it really did offer up a lot. It did offer a lot to the reader, how their story progressed. And, much like with the previous novel, it is following Nita. She finds out who betrayed her, who sold her to the market of death, which is what it's called. She finds out, she gets her revenge, except it doesn't really go according to plan. They survive, and then, her actions, cause and effect. What happens now? Well, now they're after her. So it's really her not only having to survive, given the footage that was released of her in the first novel, of her being able to heal herself, she also has to survive this person that now is out to kill her for real. Before, they sold her off to sort of escape their own history, not forgivable by any means, and that kind of just makes it even worse. But now he's after her, for his own protection, because if anything, spoiler alert, it was Fabrizio. Fabrizio is a jerk. I don't like him. I want Nita to get her revenge on him because she saved him. And what happens? He sells her to the black market? I mean, come on. How despicable is that? And you know what? As the novel goes on, as it develops further, my animosity towards him just grew even more, because he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew he's been in her same position, which only makes it worse. It's like someone who, it really does mirror real life, people who are sold into any type of slavery, get out, and then they decide to make that their living. It does mirror real life, because, that's kind of all they know, but still, he has a conscience. He readily admits to her, like, yeah, I knew it was wrong, I shouldn't have done it, but I really needed to escape my home life. Like, come on, man. Come on. So that just kind of angered me a lot. But I really do like how Nita develops her character in this novel, because now she's not just killing to survive, it's more of killing for revenge. You know what I mean? So she does have to face this identity crisis, how she defines a monster. And it does bring back that question of what makes a monster that was raised in the first novel, which does make it a compelling novel. Is a monster what you do or why you do it? Why do you hunt? You hunt to survive, for food. A lot of these unnatural creatures that are on the dangerous unnaturals list, they are dangerous because unicorns, they need souls in order to survive. COVID, as a Zanny, they feed off of pain. But, I mean, it's a lot that they have to contend with. Is a unicorn evil because it eats your soul? I mean, that does seem pretty horrific, especially when they find someone whose soul they want to eat, but it's not fractured. whew, the way they fracture a soul is pretty horrific, you know? But it's their own survival that they've put on risk. You know, they have no other means to eat. So, you know, as far as the story is concerned, you know, that is how they eat. That's just one example. Kelpies as well, you know, she does meet a Kelpie in this novel, and they're shapeshifters. Pardon me. And so she really has to contend with what makes a monster. Yeah, the Kelpie looks quite monstrous, but he's actually not a bad guy. I wouldn't characterize him as a monster or a villain at all. The ghouls, you know, I wouldn't characterize ghouls as monsters either, even though they do eat dead human flesh. You know, it is a little offsetting, but I wouldn't characterize them as monsters, you know. However, Nita, it was one thing to kill for her survival. She's taking it to a whole nother level in this novel. It has become this point where she's not just killing to survive anymore. You know, it's one thing to kill someone who's hunting her, but she starts luring people to her location so that she can kill them, to send a message. You know, that's kind of starting to become more monstrous. The things she does in this novel tend to be a little bit more monstrous, so it really puts her ethics into question, and it really does allow her to second guess herself a lot and her motives, because not everything goes according to plan. I mean, she's not really a monster, but she is doing quite monstrous things in this novel. And then when you juxtapose that with COVID doesn't want to be, you know, what he is, but he is what he is. So he just makes the best of it, you know. If that means going back to work for a mafia family because they can give him safety, that is what it is, you know. But he starts kind of questioning a lot of what Nita's doing, and to her, Xannies are monstrous. You know, the things he does are quite monstrous. But he himself, like in here, I wouldn't say he's a monster. And he does raise this point a lot with Nita. You know, what makes a monster? Again, is it what you do? Or is it what you are? Or is it why you do it? Why you're this way? You know, and I think that's really cool how the story kind of develops this kind of theme, by bringing in a lot of new characters to really offset everything that has been happening in this series. So that's why I really love this series. It's just really good. It's a lot of high tension. It's a lot of thought-provoking messages throughout the story, and it has really strong characterization and character development. I do love the way these characters kind of unfold and blossom and grow, because they are really different. In fact, the dynamic between Nita and her mother, it changes. So we get to understand her mother more. In the first novel, she just kind of seemed like this distant, emotionally, mentally abusing mother, but in this novel, we really get to see why and how her actions put her perspective in perspective, I guess you could say. You understand her a little more. That doesn't make everything she's ever done forgivable. No, by no means, no. But it does highlight more about her character, and it does make her more understandable as a mother. She was just trying to do what she thought was best in order to protect her daughter. So, I mean, you really do get to see this shift in dynamic between them. You know, they do become stronger, but her mother also becomes a little bit more understanding, and her mother takes a step back and says, you know what, okay, I see you don't need me to protect you, but if you need my help, just call me, I'll be there. You know, her mother becomes more supportive. as far versus the first novel where she wasn't really that supportive at all. And that is what is interesting about. Sorry, I just had lunch. Probably shouldn't because I'm trying to lose weight, but I can't resist checkers. I can't. But in any case, you know, I think it was a good story. I really love this series. I love how it has grown and developed, and I love how the characterization has moved and grown as well. You know, I really do think it is something impressive for the reader to appreciate. You know, it's high tension, it's thrilling, it moves you to the edge of the seat. You're like, what? Every time something happens, you're like, come on, Nina, you know. But you understand when she starts second guessing her motives and this idea of what makes a monster. It really puts the whole novel into perspective, because we do get to see a little bit more of pretty much everyone, and I think that's really interesting. You know, we get to see more of Covet and his internal struggle, as well as Nita and her internal struggle. You know, with these new introduction of the Kelpie, a deer? I can't remember his name. The Kelpie, and then Diana, the ghoul. You know, they really do bring everything into perspective. And then you have Gold, who's part of the mob, and Henry. I mean, you have these humans who aren't monsters, but they are monsters. You know, it really does put into perspective what it means to be a monster. Your actions, or what you are. You know, they are humans without unnatural abilities. They're human 100% of the way. They're not unnaturals, but they are pretty horrific, monstrous people versus the Kelpie and the ghoul and the Zanny, who are just trying to survive in this world while they're being hunted by people who hunt unnaturals. You know, I think it's a really interesting story, and I really do think it gives gives the reader a lot to think about, you know. But like I said before, Rebecca Schaeffer, she's done an amazing job with this series. Oh, I'm so excited to read the third one. I have an arc for it. I need to just start reading it, but pile of arcs aside, I'm trying to go through them as fast as possible, but hopefully this week. Hopefully I'll get to it this week. We'll see. Anyway, this is Only Ashes Remain by Rebecca Schaeffer. I give it 4.5 stars. I think it's an excellent series. I highly recommend it. The first novel is on Webtoon as a webcomic. I'm rereading the book as a webcomic because, one, I think the artwork is amazing, and two, it's such a great story. I can't help but reread it in this medium, you know? So go ahead, check it out. If you want to go ahead and purchase this book, there will be a link in the description below to bookshop.org. I highly recommend bookshop.org because the percentage of all proceeds do go to supporting local booksellers, and I'm all about supporting the bookstores. If money's too tight, which I know for a lot of us, myself included, it is, go ahead and check out the book from your local library. A library is a great resource for the community, and you know what? They deserve our support. And I hope you will support me by liking this. Look at my phone on my road. Liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.